I used to find it hard to get out of bed. The reason why is because I had anxiety. I used to have to use effort to get out of bed. I used to have to use effort to just do the littlest things, to go outside, to meet people. I would be anxious. I would have anxiety. And it's not a nice feeling at all when you're afraid of everything. You're afraid of a lot of different things. And so I really understand fear on a deep level. I've shifted to the point where I'm have a lot of inner peace. I'm very calm a majority of the time. And I'm not reactive. I'm more responsive to life. And it was a huge journey. But I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned throughout my journeys to help and support anxiety, how I overcame anxiety. Let's get started. Hey greatness, it's Gavin here from Wake Up Fulfilled. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a subconscious mind specialist. I help people reprogram their subconscious personality. In this video, we're going to be talking about anxiety. Anxiety is one of those topics that not many people understand. If you're empathic, you may understand it. If you've experienced anxiety, then you definitely know. If you've never experienced it, it's important for you to know in case other people are going through it, so you can better understand it. Because it's a condition, and when you experience it, it's so freaking challenging for people to understand what you're going through. It's like I would go with my girlfriend at the time to parties and stuff, and I would just act so crazily. I need to go in the bathroom and lock myself in the bathroom. I was very sensitive to people's energy, and I felt like I was, being attacked as well, in a way. There's nothing you can really do about it except for breathe. It's hard to really overcome this level of anxiety. And so what I've learned is that there's this thing called a meta program, and it's like global. It's a program that you can't really identify. So, for example, I couldn't identify, as I learned about subconscious mind and all this stuff, I couldn't identify why I was experiencing anxiety. And I'm not logically afraid of this thing, but yet my body's reacting as if I'm afraid of this thing. And so I found this very, very powerful pattern within myself, and it's called the fear of fear itself. Okay, that was one of my patterns. Another one of my patterns is realizing that I was afraid of life in general. Okay, so I was afraid of life in general. And can you imagine that you're just afraid of life? And that can stem from you realizing that you are awake. Okay, so when you're awake and you're alert and you're like, what is this, experience that I'm experiencing right now? When you're awakened, or when you're awoke, okay, when you're going through your awakening experience, it can bring anxiety. It can be pretty challenging, right? Because now you realize that, there's more to this reality than we think and what we've been taught. And so that can bring anxiousness. And so I was feeling really uncomfortable in my inner world because I didn't feel grounded here. I didn't feel like I'm supposed to be here, and what is this all about, and all this stuff. And so I had to really dig deep and find out what was going on within me. And so I would hire coaches, and I would hire people who are practitioners of neuro-linguistic programming. I would try meditation and listening to brainwave frequencies and all this stuff. And whilst these things are helpful and they really helped me sustain a level of calmness, the level of calmness that I have now, the level of inner peace and love for myself that I have now, the gentleness and the sweetness that I have within me is extremely powerful. And when you're around me, you can feel it. People tell me they feel better when I'm around them. Just by me being there. I don't have to say anything or do anything. But just the energy that radiates in terms of my calmness makes them feel more relaxed, and it makes them feel more of a high vibration. And I've done a lot of work on my inner world. And in anxiety, everything that I seemed to try just didn't work. It wasn't working for me. I wouldn't be able to shift it. Okay. And so I started learning about this thing in neurolinguistic programming called meta programs. Okay. And that's it's like a global response in your body. It's like meta is to like above, like, so you're seeing about, it's like a program that you can't see it, you don't know why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, you're just experiencing it. And so again, my meta program was that life is dangerous, and so if life is dangerous, if that's my global belief system, if that's the way that I perceive reality, guess what? Every single thing is going to make me anxious, right? People waking up in the morning, what is reality all about? Like all this nervousness. And so in life, sometimes I consider myself a special case. Or a special case is like, this particular problem or challenge, it can't be solved. It's impossible to solve this particular problem. And I thought I had an impossible problem that couldn't be solved. And so when I learned about this program that I had, I began shifting it, that it's completely safe to live. It's completely safe to be alive. It's completely safe to be grounded. It's completely safe to experience. It's completely safe, one of the most important, to have uncertainty. Okay, it's completely safe to have uncertainty. A lot of people, what I've realized with working with them one-on-one and just working on myself, is that people are afraid of uncertainty, especially in the spiritual community, in the personal development community. People are afraid of uncertainty, and uncertainty is basically the unknown or the new. And so when anything's new or unknown, they tend to stay away from it, or they sabotage themselves, or they avoid it. We have it when people are trying to apply for our coaching programs. People will apply, and then because it's an unknown and they've never done it before, they get really scared and they panic. And they're like, I'm feeling feeling like this is not for me right now, all of this stuff. Some people, they have the money, they're ready to go, they know why they joined the call, but yet they got to that point where they have to make that decision where they're going to move into uncertainty, and they get really, really scared. They get really, really afraid, and they push back. You see how that works? And so we find in life that when it comes to uncertainty, we tend to avoid uncertainty because the subconscious mind thinks when it comes to uncertainty, it's going to lead to some sort of pain. It's going to lead to you getting hurt. Subconscious mind is all about survival, keeping you alive. And so if there's uncertainty, you're treading on uncharted territory. You're treading on territory which is unknown, and so you could potentially get hurt. Something may happen to you if you make this decision and you move forward. So it brings up anxiety. So I had this as well, that I was just afraid of the unknown. And it was little things. It was little things that I was afraid of, just little unknowns, like where like me just saying something might offend someone, and so I wouldn't say it at all, just keep it in, right? I would like avoid conversations. I would avoid, speaking my mind and things like this. I would navigate my way around a situation. For example, I would see someone that I knew on the street, maybe someone from my school where I grew up, or someone, from work, my previous work, or whatever it is. And I'll do everything to avoid that person. I'll cross the road, like I would, hide my face or whatever it is, because I didn't want to have a conversation with them. I didn't want to talk to them because it was an unknown. I didn't know where that led. And so I had this extreme level of anxiety. Now, like, I don't care. Like, right now I'm recording a video and there are people like watching me over there, and, I couldn't care less about what people think. And I've learned to not take things personally. I've learned a very high level of confidence. One of my main levels of confidence and where it stems from is higher power, or the Most High, or God, right? And that I'm connected to God, and I'm walking with God. Kanye West says Jesus walks with me, right? And so I tend to walk with a sense of God in me, and I express life in that way. And so when I walk with this energy, it feels like I'm more confident, right? God's confidence. But also, just in general, it's like I'm not afraid of the unknown anymore. I'm not afraid of, conversations or talking to people. And it's weird that I just naturally say things now, like whereas before I would like beat around the bush and kind of say, well, I'm feeling like this, hide away, and it would take me a long time to speak my mind and all this stuff, and people had to pull stuff out of me. Now I just say it like now, and it's so sort of cutthroat now. Like people are like, whoa, like I'll just be straight to the point. Here's how I'm feeling, da da da. Like, and it's just greater communication skills. And yesterday, I was talking to someone, a woman that I'm attracted to, and she initially assumed that I wanted a long-term relationship because that's what I had said to her. Okay, and after doing some thinking, I felt like, no, I'm not ready for a relationship, right? Doing some thinking, and I'm not ready for a long-term relationship. Okay, and so I came out and I told her, and I was like, hey, I'm not ready for a long-term relationship. I'm only looking for something short-term, or just looking to date and stuff like this. And basically she said, wow, like, I really appreciate you telling me that. I really appreciate you coming out and telling me that. Most men are not honest. They just beat around the bush and all this stuff. I like that you're straight to the point. I was like, woo, straight. So basically now I've met someone that could potentially be someone that I'm going to be dating, just for like a short-term thing. Okay. And so the reason I'm saying that is because before, like, I would have been so anxious to do that, so anxious to say what's on my mind and say what I feel. So here's some things, really powerful things that I've done to really get to this level of calmness, being more assertive, speaking my mind, not being afraid to get out of bed, and all these things. Okay. Number one is understanding that you have a biological system, a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. Okay. These two systems, they kind of work hand in hand, they work together. And the parasympathetic nervous system is designed to keep you relaxed. It's designed to keep you calm. It's designed for rest and digest. It's designed to recover and rejuvenate. It's designed for just sustain your life, just be normal. And then you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is designed for fight or flight, okay? Which is designed to keep you protected. If there's a car coming, you jump out of the way. If there's a dog barking, you run. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to keep you protected. And if you have anxiety, chances are you're mostly in the sympathetic nervous system, okay? So you need to find out how to get yourself a majority in the time in the parasympathetic nervous system, where you're just totally relaxed. Your nervous system is functioning on this side. Now, if you've been through traumas, if you've been through certain experiences in your life, your body is going to be stuck in the sympathetic nervous system. It's going to be stuck in fight or flight. And chances are your adrenals, which are glands that deal with your hormones, specifically cortisol, if your adrenals are firing off and you're releasing a bunch of cortisol, that's going to release a bunch of stress and you're going to feel anxious and all of these things, okay? And so when you've been through traumas, you've been through certain experiences, it's very hard to feel relaxed, okay? So you have to get rid of the traumas. You have to get rid of the subconscious traumas that are causing for you to be in the sympathetic nervous system. There are traumas that you've been through, and because it's traumatic, your mind holds on to that as a memory, right? It's stored in your memory bank. And so it's functioning off that memory. It's a part of who you are. And so it's keeping you in fight or flight. As soon as you get rid of the trauma, bloop, now your body can operate back how it's supposed to be. You see how that works? And gets into the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxed and digest state. And so the first thing we need to understand is that you have to get rid of your traumas, okay? Another thing that will support you getting into the parasympathetic nervous system is herbs. Herbs and adaptogenics, or adaptogenic herbs. So there are many different adaptogenic herbs that you can take. And you want to get ones to support your adrenal system. Okay, and again, I'm not a doctor. You want to do your own research on this stuff. All right. You want to get herbs that support the adrenal system and support you being in a relaxed state. Okay, a relaxed state. So just to name a few, we got ashwagandha. You may have heard of ashwagandha, really powerful adaptogenic. You got rhodiola rosea. You got reishi mushroom. And if you eat meat, you can find adrenal supplements that support the adrenals specifically. Okay, so you can get herb versions and you can actually get meat-based versions as well, which support the adrenals. When you are in fight or flight, something that really helps, sounds a little bit disgusting, but organ meats. Okay, so look into organ meats. That will really provide a lot of nutrition for your body, but it also helps you calm down your system. Okay, very, very powerful and potent. All right, so that's another thing you can do. Okay, so number one is you want to get rid of your traumas. Okay, traumas, experiences that triggered you, accidents, breakups, all of these things could be keeping you in anxiety. So number two is consuming herbs and nutrition to help you get into that parasympathetic nervous system. The last one I want to share with you is beliefs. Okay, your beliefs about reality. This is what was one of my main issues, is my traumas and my beliefs about reality, and that I'm afraid of all of these things. I'm afraid of life. I'm afraid of, these things happening to me. And so my body was trapped, like stuck in this energy. And so it was crazy the amount of things that I had to do just to feel relaxed every morning. I had to get up, I had to have to do breathing, I had to meditate, I had to stretch, and I used to have to do gratitude and all of these things. I had to do all of these things just to have that little bit of calmness. And then on top of that, I was trying to consume supplements, but it wasn't working. It's like constant having to push. Feeling tired all the time, not being able to sleep properly. It can mess up your whole system if you're stuck in fight or flight. So it's when I got rid of my traumas, when I got rid of my belief systems, that's when it all changed. Okay, that's when it all changed for me. Okay, so those are some of the things that you can go ahead and do. There's many meditations for trauma and trauma release here on YouTube that you can go look up. And helping you shift your beliefs. You can use EFT as well, emotional freedom technique. However, if you would like to work with me, one-on-one, or you would like to get my neutrality shifting life mastery program, you can get a free subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link above or below this video where you can go check that out. Yeah, I've been through it, so I know how to help you if you decide to work with me one-on-one. And that's it. So if you've got any questions, be sure to comment them below. I answer my questions every Friday, so look forward to your reply every Friday. And thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for liking, thank you for commenting and watching all the way through. I really do appreciate when you do that, because it really supports the channel in a really powerful way. And I appreciate you a lot. Okay, I love you. And that's it. Okay, so remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.